All right, welcome everybody to Open Hour. We're here again, as we're here every week, to give you an update on the SALT project and hear from you. I'm your host, Janae Andrus, the SALT project community manager, and it is July 1st. Happy Canada Day to everybody. And we are excited to be here. We are an awesome open source community that likes to get together with our community once a week. And if you want to find out more, you can certainly go to saltproject.io. And if you'd like to reach out to us, we are at saltproject@vmware.com. So let's get going. Okay, so today we're going to be, it's a pretty standard agenda. We'll do some general updates. We'll talk about Saltcomp and we'll hit on the working groups. If you are a working group captain and you are here, we're gonna pester you to know what's going on in your working group. So nothing formal, nothing stressful. Please don't drop the call. We're just going to ask how things are going. So also we'll go over the steps, some release updates, and we have some demos, and then the time will be yours for any questions, any concerns. Gareth told me not to ask for threats anymore, so no threats and all those things. Okay, it'll be great. So SALT project, before we dive in, I like to remind everyone that we are everywhere. So we're on YouTube, we're on GitHub, we're on Slack, we're on Twitch. We have a subreddit, we're on LinkedIn and Facebook and Twitter as well for those social channels. We're a lot more active on those recently, so be sure to check that out. There's a lot of information in our social channels. And of course, YouTube has a ton of stuff. YouTube is where you'll find our Salt Air episodes. There's a whole playlist. So you can check that out. It's where we get granular on SALT with Tom, the creator of SALT. And it's pretty fantastic. And of course, GitHub has all kinds of repos and information. And Slack is where we talk to you. And Twitch, we have streaming sessions all throughout the week. So there's a lot of things there. And then besides this, additionally, we are on anywhere you listen to a podcast. The Hacks is available. It's a technical podcast that's actually funny with Chunga and Tom, so don't miss that. Okay, so diving into our updates, we have our June virtual meetups posted. As I mentioned last week, we had 2 meetups in June. Normally we have our virtual meetup on the 3rd Wednesday of the month at 5 p.m. Mountain Time. Last month we did just that, but we also had one in the APJ time zone. It was really great. So they're both posted in our YouTube playlist for the virtual meetup. Be sure to check those out if you'd like to hear about them. We did a behind the scenes of the hacks, so you can hear a lot of information there. And we also did a config management 101. So that was pretty good. For July, we will be at the normal time of the 3rd Wednesday at 5 p.m. Mountain on July 21st is when that lands. So mark your calendars. We'll put more information up soon. And last chance for Salt Stack swag. It's getting more and more true every week. We're ordering all the Salt project swag right now. So this will be true for maybe another month. So
I think I'm going to wait till it's 90% off.
Oh, you'll be waiting a long time. Yeah, no, it'll be great.
99% Shane, push the envelope.
99. We should do that just like for the last hour, make it 99% off and only tell Shane. And Gareth.
I'll clear you out.
It'll be great. I haven't checked the stock in the last week. I know we still have some Death Star posters. There's still some things there to grab. So I think the backpacks are my favorite, and the laptop bags. I'm not sure if we have a lot of those left or if we have any. Okay, blog content. So we have relaunched our blog and we've got some good things going. We just want to let the community know that we are open to getting blogs from the community. So if you have something that you would like highlighted that you think is relevant, we're looking for anything that's related to SALT. We love use cases, but also if you just have something around thought leadership that even loosely relates to SALT, we'd love to hear about it. It does not have to be this big elaborate thing. 400, 800 words is completely acceptable. If it's longer, that's also fine. you go ahead and send that over to me, and we want to highlight you. We're not just going to grab your content and slap your name on it. We want to make sure you're highlighted. So send your bio, send a headshot, and throw your blog content in a doc file and send it over to saltproject@vmware.com. And we would love to create that win-win where, you know, we're able to just add more to our blog and you're able to get highlighted and featured within the industry. So we would love to hear from you. Be sure to reach out. And if you have any questions, just let me know. Or you can email saltproject@vmware.com. So Saltcomp, let's talk about that. It is a virtual 2-day event, November 3rd and 4th. Our theme is bigger, better, faster, stronger. So if Salt has in any way made something bigger, better, faster, or stronger for you, we want to hear about it. And so if you can submit a speaking proposal, you can do that on saltcomp.com. So saltconf.com. And you can click the submit proposal. As I mentioned last week, if you click that button, it doesn't immediately sign your name in blood that you're submitting a proposal. It just brings you to a Google form with a lot of information. So if you're even thinking about it or interested, click the button and go into the form to read all that information about the type of things we're looking for, how that would all go. We'd love to hear from you. Don't be intimidated by it. If you've ever wanted to speak at a conference, a virtual conference is such a great way to get your foot in the door on that, get some experience with it. And we'd love to hear from you. So let us know. Okay, so it's the first week of the month. We mentioned last week that we want to start checking in with the captains of our working groups the first open hour of each month. And I'm just going to tell you, we didn't warn anybody except for the brief mention in open hour last week. So this is not a formal check-in. This is not anything, whatever. But if anyone who is part of a working group or captain of a working group, like to just let us know what's going on. We'll be more organized and formal about this in future months. But given that it's July, a lot of people are out and we're just kind of getting our feet wet on this. So Shane, can I put you on the spot to kick us off with Windows working group? Just let us know how things are going.
Sure. Yeah. We meet every third Tuesday of every month. I think it's 10 o'clock my time. I'm not sure what it is for everybody else.
It's Mountain Time.
10 o'clock Mountain Time. So we meet every third Tuesday. There's 3 or 4 of us that meet pretty regularly, and our big focus in the most recent meetings has been the installer for Windows. Currently, Salt just runs right on the root of C, which isn't a very Windowsy way to install software. So we're working on making it user selectable so you can choose where you want to install Salt. And we have a PR in for that. And we're working through a few other issues that we found. But yeah, that's been our focus most recently.
Awesome. Thank you. And for those of you stalking Shane, you know, he lives in the Mountain Time Zone. Good luck. You're one step closer. Awesome. Would anyone else like to chime in on their working group? Barney, maybe?
Yep, sure. And so the security working group recently formed, and we meet every second Monday, which is 9 a.m. MDT and 3 p.m. UTC. We've had a couple of meetings so far. We're very much just getting going and working out exactly what it is we want to focus on. I think we've got a reasonable idea of that now. We spent the majority of our last meetings discussing SEP 19, which is currently open and is about running Salt as a non-root user. And that's going to be, I think, one of the first things we focus on. So we've been doing a bit of sort of refining of what that means. I'm actually going to sort of redraft that in the next few days, but if anyone has any comments or thoughts on that, please do go and stick them in the SEP. That'd be really good to hear from people. So yeah, we'll have our next meeting, I think not next Monday, but the Monday after. So anyone who wants to sort of come along and contribute, that would be fantastic. Thanks.
Awesome. Thanks, Barney. I think we have anybody else in here. Anyone else want to chime in on their working group? Okay. I appreciate you guys. That's really great. And we will make that a regular check-in. Love hearing from you guys. Okay. We're going to jump into SEPs. So we have, Sage actually put this great slide together, talking about how SEPs work. These are our SALT enhancement proposals. To clarify, it does say so right there. And essentially this is where you can submit if you see something that you think needs changed in the community and SALT. So we do need 4 core team approvals for a SEP to be accepted. And it's not a final thing once it is, but we get a rough consensus. The timeframes, as it says on the slide, are subjective. And so we have the SEPs here. And Sage, do you want to go over these in detail, or just, and as Barney mentioned, 19 is being discussed in the security group.
Sure. This, I haven't had time to update this today. This may be an old copy and paste from their status, because the adding 0.0 to major SALT versions going forward has been accepted. And so I'll update that so that it's a little more real, so you can see those. But definitely the links work on this, and you can go see those in the repo in GitHub, and working towards these, trying to make sure that some of these that are a little bit older are also getting some time and getting some face value from the core team, as well as from some of the working groups. Like we stated with the security group, they were going over 19, and that one still needs to have a few more of the work groups put in some comments and just review. I'm working towards that, and we'll make sure that that happens. And looking forward to 26. 26 is in final comment period. It has enough approvals. Just going to wrap that up very soon. So packaging SALT with Tiamat. We do still know that there's a lot of things to do there, and we believe that there's probably a lot more implementation that needs to be put together. But that is looking very good to say, yes, we agree with a rough consensus. So love to hear from people on that as well. One last week, and these are also in the Slack channel. The updates from this should be in there. I believe that I've connected that again since we had some changes. I'll make sure today. And any questions on any of these? If not, then we'll move right along.
Hold on, I can push buttons. I got this. All right. Release updates. Sage, that is you as well. Take it away.
Yes. So really quickly, I do want to put out there that we will be doing a release, another point release for 3000. So 3000.2, we found some things that need to occur. And we also found some things that need to happen prior to a silicon release for scalability. So you'll see that there's a milestone out there in GitHub that's specific to this release, and you can see what we've got in it today. And then the silicon release dates are the same, and we'll be marching towards that. And I have not put together the completely messed up slide that had dates on it. I have not fixed that. I am sorry I haven't fixed that. It's actually been the bane of my existence for some reason, because I really messed it up. I'm probably gonna have to start over. So that was fun. I'll start that over and get a better slide together so that it's more in a picture view, because I think that helps everyone. And I'll make sure that happens for next week, even though I will be out next week. I will be on PTO, but it'll be ready for Janae's. She'll be able to show it. Yay!
Great. And yay, PTO. I'm so proud of you for taking it.
Yay!
And yes. Okay. So we've staggered our PTO so that you won't miss open hour. Don't worry, everyone. And we have some exciting demos today. Sage, you actually set these up, so I'm gonna let you.
Yeah, so Joe
part.
couldn't be here today, and so I just have a recording from him, so we could maybe even do that one last. And then
Okay.
Shane and Wayne gave a little bit of a precursor to this. Shane, do you want to go first?
Yeah, I'm happy to. For some reason, I thought this was tomorrow, like for the other demo. I didn't know this was
We're doing that too.
open hour, but
Oh.
I think I still have it here.
Is Wayne here? I don't see.
And if not, I can go first. That's fine. Do you want to get set up and I can,
Got to find it. So
and do we not have Wayne? Oh,
Yeah,
gosh.
Because he wasn't, I was gonna ask him about test working group.
all
Oh,
right.
man.
I guess he just got sick of me telling him to tell jokes every week.
He's probably just busy. That's okay. I can actually talk to
Yeah.
that too.
Okay, well, I can do it. I need
ahead,
to share
Shane.
my screen though. I need to.
Yep, I will close this out. It's all you.
Okay, well, let me just show you what we're kind of working on here. So we're installing Salt Anywhere. So currently Salt is installed right here at the root of C. And I guess I should install Salt here. Let me install Salt and find some builds here. It's gonna be awesome when this totally fails, huh? You guys hear me? Okay. I thought maybe I was muted. All right, so this is just an older installer. It's our most recent release, but just give it a minute to install. I should have this set up. I apologize, everybody.
No worries. You want to talk about, so we had a SEP open for this and
Yeah.
it was accepted and yeah, tell the
SEP.
story a little bit.
Yeah, SEP number 31. That was accepted, and we've made a few little changes to the SEP since then to as we've dug into it and decided how we want to approach this. One of the big change or difficulties was dealing with an existing installation in sea salt, whether we wanted to move those or just pop up a warning and say, hey, you've got you have this installer in the old location and let them move it, or do we move it? You know, that's kind of the thing. So this is all right, just to show that Salt is running now. Pull that over here. All right, so the Salt minion is installed and it's running. I didn't point it to a master or anything. I would have done all that if I would have known this was happening today, so we could show that it actually works. But all right, so we have a Salt minion installed. In Sea Salt, we have a config file here. Just want to show that it's all here. Good heavens. Okay. And there's our config. Okay. All right. So now I'm gonna one of my builds that I did. Okay, so this is one I'm not sure what that one is. I'm gonna run this one. So this is just a shell to show that it works. It detects the installation in the old location. It will remove it. You should see a lot of this stuff disappear out of here. There we go. And where it leaves the existing config there. And then you get this little option here Not sure this is the right one. I was expecting something else. This isn't the right one. Sorry. Now I wonder what this one is. Ah, dang it. Sorry, I clicked too fast. This is
That's
going
okay.
well. This is going swimmingly.
It's a demo, it's fine.
Well, I'd moved on to another project and I wasn't working on this.
It's okay. I think
like
it's
when
good for
they're
us
more
to
raw.
all be, yeah, it's good for us all to be human and show that we're not perfect. It's fine.
Exactly.
Daily.
My demos are never perfect.
It's a demo, that's fine.
I
That's
also
totally
think you
fine.
get more out of it when it's not seamless because it shows you a little troubleshooting and like things people run into.
I gotta find where I built my last build. What if I did it here, or if I have a build here? Oh, that is the one. Okay. This should have done it. Well, let me run it again. Dang it. Okay, so now I have to uninstall it. You can see where it's deleting files though. It's deleting them out of program files, salt project salt instead of out of C salt. So it installed in the new location, the default program files.
The question on this, how's this going to interact with existing installs? Say if you use a new installer to upgrade.
With existing installs?
Mhm.
Okay, so the way we've
Went into sea salt.
Okay, so the way we've split it out is in our normal installation, oh, dang it. Oh, no, that's fine. Okay. That's what I wanted to do. So in our normal sea salt directory, you had all the config and a bunch of batch files. Then you had a bin directory, and the bin directory was basically just a portable Python. So it's being split out. The bin directory is basically going into program files, salt project, salt. And then the rest of the config is going into program data, into the program data directory. Let me show you that.
I meant more, how is this going to work for transition? Like, look, if someone upgrading.
Yeah, so I was going to show you that.
Sure. Okay.
And I clicked through it too fast. That was the problem. Okay, so now we get you select a location, and this is just for the binary, not for the config and the stuff that you would expect to see. This is what you expect to see here. So you have an option when you get to this page to move the existing root directory in C salt. If you don't check that, then it will still use the config as it sits in C salt and not touch it. It'll be the old way. The binary data will be in the new location, but your config and your cache and all your things will be in C salt as it used to be. That is, you can, if you select this, then it will move all that into the program data directory. This is also selectable via a command line switch. So when you're doing an upgrade and you don't want to click through a GUI, you can do it through a batch file or through the Windows Win repo, however you want to do it. So this is what I was wanting to check to show you that it does move everything. So you can see that it's gone now out of my window here. And if we go into program data, there's now a Salt project directory with Salt, and now all your config that was in C Salt is now there. Does that answer your question, Eric?
Yes, very nice. Thank you.
All right. And Salt actually runs in this location. The service starts and everything works so far.
So will the defaults from like going forward will not be under C, will be in like a different directory?
I think the default is C, because I want people, I don't want someone to install it and they'd be like, hey, where'd my config go? You know what I mean? So they need to manually check that box or pass the
Okay.
command line switch. So they know that they are moving the location of the config to a program data directory. I want it to be more deliberate than just having it move stuff and you don't know, and then you go look for your minion config and it's not in C Salt, and then we get a issue created.
That's good. I was concerned that there wouldn't be a chance in future open hours of using sea salt multiple times.
Yeah.
So now I feel better.
I didn't check it. I didn't see it when the option came up, but like that option to move your config, so it gets detected when it does find the installation there. Is that pre-checked, or does that have to be opted into?
It has to be opted into. It is not pre-checked.
Okay.
That's probably good, because most people expect things to work the way they've always worked. And yeah, to your point, I'm sure somebody would have filed an issue. Where'd Salt go? I installed it, but it's not there.
Right. Where's my config? Where's all my stuff? I had it all perfect set up. Where is it?
Oh, don't worry. I'm sure somebody will also file an issue to say that.
I'm sure, yeah.
You don't have to worry about missing out.
Yeah, pretty much.
So there's one more thing I wanted to show you, which is you can pass a question mark option and get some help on the installer. And there is now a move config option. That's the new option that was added.
Nice.
So, all right. Any questions on that? That concludes my demo.
Beautiful. Well done. Thanks, Shane.
Sure.
Appreciate you. It looks like Wayne's here too.
Hey, Wayne, do you want to do the level of effort stuff on the test work group project board?
Yes, I can
Cool.
talk about that. I don't know if I think I have it up in front of me. So, yes, got to get my windows situated, because Zoom, I have learned, does not share screen well on Linux with multiple desktops that are stacked vertically. The little dialogue thing that's up the top just like disappears completely, and then I have to kill Zoom to stop sharing.
Oh
It's
no.
good fun.
Sounds like a cool setup though.
Yeah, right. Anyway, so this is org salt stack projects 37, and this is the test working group board that we've got for the adding tests to master port jam, which we will come up with a catchier name because that's awful. But yeah, so the approach that I had originally been taking on the test clinics was just to pick some random PR and kind of start working through that. Then I realized that was going to take forever, so I could focus on the low-hanging fruit. So I went through GitHub's API and said, "Hey, give me the ports that touched the fewest number of lines and files," and then I just ordered them by number of changes. After well, after 2 or 3 of them, I discovered that sometimes what looks to be trivial because it's just a 1-line change isn't. It can have much more far-reaching effects, even though it's just like swapping a word around or something. And so it became important to like kind of go through this process of looking at things and taking a step back and saying, okay, where is this touching? Is this just in some corner case of a module in a tiny function that's, you know, well written, or is it like something in this core process that goes through this whole laundry list? And more often than not, well, a lot of them did that. But what I did is I went through and said, okay, out of these top 100 or so that were, you know, the fewest changes, how small is that change? And then so I'd take a look, take a step back, and kind of make an estimate. So that was my process that I went through here. And as I've been going through these test clinics and adding tests to these master ports that need tests, I've kind of got to this process where I can look at it and I can say, this is something I could probably do in like a 2-hour session in a test clinic, or, you know, 2 of those sessions. And that's probably about how long that will take. Anything that fell into that category, that got the small estimate. So that's this column here. Anything that was kind of between 2 and say 4, I dropped into this bucket. So, you know, it may be that some of these will actually be possible to do within like a, you know, 5-6 hour stretch or whatever our jam is, but like each of these should be able to be accomplished in that, even if you don't have excuse me, a whole lot of experience with Salt or writing tests. It should be possible to get at least, you know, 80-90% of the way there on each of these. The small, the medium is anything like that. And then there's really not a kind of a largish thing. It pretty much, if it's not medium, if it's not going to be like 3 to 4, then it's just going to be huge, from a large huge to a just holy cow, wow, what in the world even? And it's not always clear, just based on the changes, because it could be a very small change, but when you go back and you start looking up documentation and you start looking at the code and how it's used, and then it just gets bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger. The one example that I can think of in particular was a fix for Postgres. And looking at the documentation for this particular one, you know, to make a meaningful test, you really have to spin up Postgres. You have to create some tables and set some stuff up and then run this against Postgres, which is, you know, that in and of itself is going to be complicated. But then also, I'm pretty sure that the fix is actually not the right fix based on the documentation for that particular table and what the goal is. And then I also found a couple of other issues in that as well. Whereas like, I'm pretty sure we're not doing that right or that right as well. So it ends out, even though the change is like, here's a small change, it exploded and is going to need a much larger change. So that's one of those things that looks small, but ends out huge. So that's kind of my process that I went through to kind of give these an estimate. I'm sure some of them aren't perfect. I don't think that anything in the small column will be much larger than small or potentially medium. I tried to be really conservative about that. And if I had any like on the fence, then I would go up a level. So hopefully that should be pretty good. But, you know, if we look at this, that's, you know, 60 issues between small and medium. And, you know, if we manage to do that in a port jam, like that's some tremendous work that we've done. And I would be super chuffed about that. And just entirely impressed. Even if we got through all the small ones, I would be incredibly impressed. You know, so I don't know if there's any other questions about that, but that was kind of the process I went through to build this. And then there's some that, well, there are more that I didn't actually get to estimate. Many more, and that's not even all of them. But I'm just decided to start working through those on the test clinic. Anything that I didn't add to one of these lists, I'm going through those and starting to add some tests to those. But yeah.
Yeah, and we spent today just a bit before kind of going over this in the test working group, and that's recorded. We'll post that to YouTube soon so that people can see that we kind of go in depth in the process and then talk about the jam that we're going to have. And we have sort of settled on some dates in October. I'm going to pick that exact date very soon, and we'll post that and put that all over. And the notes that I took from that meeting, I'll also post in some channels so that we've got it. And that is proven to be very fruitful. We get a lot of people joining those jams, and so we want to do it again. And we'll do another Docs Jam too, probably in October. It's probably the date we'll pick. So hopefully we'll see you guys there. Cool. I will attempt to share the recording that Joe gave me. This should be fun. See if I can follow it.
Make sure to share your screen audio.
I was gonna say,
Right?
this audio checkbox.
Click the audio.
I hate when I forget that.
Share. Can everyone see my screen?
Yes.
Let's try this.
Hello, my name is Joe, and
Working.
I am
Everyone.
one of the core
Perfect.
engineers on the Salt team. I primarily work in Windows. However, for this video, I will actually be demonstrating our Slack engine. Unfortunately, I did have to record this as a video because I had some competing meetings, but nevertheless, Slack engine. So our Slack engine is comprised of our execution module and our state module for Slack. Although there is not a ton of functions that we have written for it, it is.
Okay, so it seems to be frozen for you too then.
I guess so.
Buffering.
It's not just you.
A network error caused media download to fail part way.
Oh
Gosh.
my.
Great. So maybe we'll have Joe do this live next time.
Just as we were getting to the good bits too.
Right? I'll feel
Jeez
teased.
Louise.
Dave suggested just refreshing it. Because usually it's when it's
Works.
not fully loaded, right?
We'll try again.
Hello.
Will this work? Buffering.
Slack engine. Unfortunately, I did have to record this as a video.
Just let it play from
because
there.
I had some competing meetings, but nevertheless, Slack engine. So Our Slack engine is comprised of our execution module and our state module for Slack. Although there is not a ton of functions that we have written for it, it is a very powerful engine nonetheless. And very recently, there were some tickets that have come out for Salt Open that were reminding us that we needed to update the way that we were passing our API or passing the API token that a user would provide. Slack had posted a couple months ago that they had deprecated specific usage of their tokens as their legacy means of using their API tokens. The date was February 24th. It says they will stop allowing newly created Slack apps to send requests to web API methods. So the updates that I made to the Slack engine were to support the legacy means of calling the Slack engine or these web APIs, as well as supporting the new methods. And so with that, I think it would be appropriate also to demonstrate a little bit about the current functionality and how we use the Slack engine in Salt. So I should probably clear this. And as you can see, I've made sure that this works, but let's see here. So yeah. So this is how we would use the execution module right here with the salt call. The function post message asks you to specify a channel. Here I've provided channel nothing. The message is, this is a test message, and you can specify a from name, so the person you want to send it as, and then you provide your API key. So also for whoever has used this module or state, the way that we would otherwise provide our API token or the API key or any other argument for that matter, none of that's changed. It's just the internals have changed. Nevertheless, this is still a great opportunity to demonstrate, as I've been saying, exactly how powerful it is. And as you can see, if we were to do a salt call, we get our message back. And this is just running in my test token space, whatever this is called. Right, channel name must start with a hash or an @ prepending a hash and using $nothing as a channel name. So the execution module will do that for you. And likewise for the state, you can see likewise, same parameters, channel specified as nothing. I have changed the from name from build server to Bob. Similar but different message. And I can run this with a salt call state. Oh, there we go. Salt call state.apply. And upon executing this state file, we will see very similar results. This is a test. It works. Success. Takes a little bit, probably just due to the nature of using the web APIs, but it works. So although this does conclude a very short demo, we will gladly accept pull requests to add functionality that is not already baked into the module, because the Slack API methods, there's a ton of them. I think there's over like 100. You can do things such as upload files in the message, right? You can add an attachment. You can specify team-wide pings, just like if you were to do it at here or at team. I believe that is the proper usage for teams. Yeah. So like I said, we will always take more pull requests for additions, but that is a little bit about the Slack engine. It has been updated so we can use it again. And thank you for listening.
Yay. So thank you, Joe. I don't have that video available to post anywhere, just share here, but I will get that from Joe and post it somewhere and make sure that that's available to people. I think that is a really great engine and a feature that I don't know that it's used a ton, but I think it should be. It's great. So we'll get that out there. Thank you. Any questions I can take back to Joe, or I'm sure several other people here may be able to answer them if anybody has them.
Yeah, thanks for the chiming in on that stage. I was about to unmute and say, yeah, that was a great video. And I just started like coughing. Choked on the air. I was like, never mind.
His demo should show like a runner or something.
Yeah.
A reactor that
It'd
reacts
be
to
great.
something and then sends a Slack message.
And yeah, that'd be really cool. I'd love to see some more demos of how people are using it. I don't know that, so we don't currently use it, although I'd like to. I'd like to set it up. In fact, I have plans to do that, to be using it for some other things, and want to see how other people are doing that so that we could also demo that here, because I think that that's a really neat feature. And also asking other people, if you have things that you've worked on in Salts and want to demo it and how it works and the use case for you, we would love to see that. We would love to plan that in an open hour and demo it here. Let us know. You can contact us, saltproject@vmware.com. We want to hear from you, and do short. It can be just as short as that. That was under 6 minutes. It's great. Love to share what people are doing and get it here. We can also do that just like we did with Joe, and do a video here, post it to YouTube, make sure that those are available to people, and talk about them as well. I do have a couple of announcements if there's no questions. So we have a PR that is out there, has been out there for a little while, that is to drop Python 2 code from the entire code base. We are looking to put this into Silicon and merge that soon. I've put that in the chat. We've actually had that out there for months. So it wasn't passing tests. We did a bunch of fixing tests in our war room, and that's been a lot better. And Shane, I didn't know you had a doggy. And guess what? We now have the latest and greatest dog showcased by Shane.
This is Mr. Pibb.
It's very white for a Mr. Pibb.
It's very white. It's very cute. Welcome, Mr. Pibb. You are now the star. So I just really quickly wanted to make sure people are aware of that PR that is coming. We just want to make sure that people know about it. Looking at revisiting, what did Derek say? We should look at revisiting the Slack docs to know more stuff that Joe is doing. Yes, please do visit those, and probably need to make some updates there, and maybe even could embed that video into our docs somehow, because I think that would be useful. We've talked about doing that. Haven't made that leap yet, but I want to, so looking forward to that. And of course, looking to post that on YouTube as well. And it seems like I had another announcement. What was it? I thought I had two. I can only think of one. Maybe it'll come to me.
Hang on, I'm turning on my mind reader skills. Dang it.
What was it? Oh, I know what it was. It was the jams, and we already talked about that. So
Yep,
I
October.
did it.
October, you did it.
I did it.
Does your shirt say Salt Sage?
It does. It actually says
Awesome.
salt water heals everything.
Nice.
Doheny
I was-
State Beach.
Like, I thought I knew all the swag we had. What is this salt shirt?
I know, right? When I see these things, I have to buy them, even if they are ridiculously.
Yeah, there's nothing like drinking a tall glass of salt water in the morning.
You know,
Well,
or
you know, it will, if you drink a large enough one, it will solve all of your problems.
That is dark, Wayne.
it's dark.
Is that what the back of Sage's shirt says?
I guess so.
It does not solve your problems.
Oh
It's
man.
funny. Oh man, that's funny. Awesome. So in the last like couple minutes we have, does anyone have any questions or things they want to bring up?
So I see Dave in here. We were chatting a little bit on the community Slack about the extension modules and kind of that process. In particular, I think he was working on a MySQL proxy, which was kind of an interesting thing for related to MySQL. Anyways, I recommended, hey, start doing it with this extension module. But he was also interested in, you know, kind of not necessarily having to maintain it maybe, or at least getting it into the community so the community can really say, hey, let's, you know, do this if there's some interest. And I realized I don't actually have a good answer for that. And I don't know if we've discussed that yet, but that seems like something we should either discuss or discuss over time. But, you know, just this idea of with these extension modules, I know we've talked about having like a registry for the extension modules and doing some things like that. But, you know, just thinking about the process of if we make an extension module, is there a time where that ever becomes, you know, an official module? One of the examples I can think of is like with the PSF, the Python Software Foundation. They have a GitHub org, and they have taken under their umbrella, their auspice, projects like requests and you know, setup tools and a couple of other ones where maybe they were more community, and they're still community, but they still live under that umbrella PSF organization. And that, at least that approach kind of seems like a good one, I think, for what we want to accomplish with the extension modules. Does anybody else have thoughts or have even bothered thinking about it yet?
It's a quiet day at the open hour. No thoughts. Thank you, Wayne.
Crickets, chirp, chirp, chirp. Yeah, so
That's good pop-up.
I'm sure we'll bring this up more later, but just wanted to at least throw that out there so that people can be thinking about it and, you know, maybe look at some of the other models they've seen in either Python communities or other communities as well, and just to say, oh, I like the way they did that, or oh, the way they did that was awful and we should definitely not do that at all.
Avoid this. Yeah, that's helpful.
Yes.
No, thanks for planting the seed. So, see what it grows into. Okay, anybody else? Got a couple minutes. Awesome. Well, thanks. That was a fantastic open hour. Thank you especially to Shane and Wayne and Joey, who wasn't here, who was here in spirit. Really appreciate your demos and letting us put you on the spot, and Shane and Barney also for those working group updates. Appreciate it. Okay, thanks everybody. We appreciate you being at open hour. As always, check out saltproject.io for any other community updates and insights, and have a great rest of your Thursday. Thanks everybody, and happy Canada Day.